Allison's absence. David, would you mind giving us a quick update on what's cooking?
Sure. So right now I'm working with the Garden Club and Barb on the public landing, redoing that little garden area by the left of where the little area that we just did with the bridges.
So your guys down there yesterday lugging granite pieces around.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Barb's given us kind of a canvas to kind of.
It's a group effort.
Yes.
But we're trying to make the whole area kind of a shady place for people to sit
Yeah.
when they're at the public landing. I mean, it'll take a little while for it to be really shady, but the idea is to have some flat areas for picnic tables and seating and people viewing whatever in shade, because there's no shade in the park. And just kind of a private sitting area, private-ish feeling for the public. So,
Yeah, it's nice.
Kind of a courtyardish.
Yeah.
Kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there'll be
So we're working on that, and
Old Street.
our Gould Street project is winding down today, not completely winding down, but today's the last course of pavement. And once we're off of that, I'm gonna be able to dedicate some people on just planting trees, and I'm gonna go out and we're gonna just plant a bunch of trees all at once. It's best to plant them anyway in the fall.
Yeah,
We won't have to water them as much,
Yep.
until winter. We'll have to water them a little bit until winter, but
You're talking about where?
all over the place.
All over the hotel?
Yeah, we've got a list of people that want them, and we've got the app that has places in it. So I'm gonna try and plant as many as I can. I might need a little bit of help. I mean, it wouldn't hurt if you look at the app over again, see if there's areas in there that you want highlighted. We've got the ones at the Sea Park. We gotta probably think about planting those. Those are nice sugar maples.
yeah, those are beautiful little trees.
We might be able to put those actually in the courtyard area.
Yep.
And then our Molyneux project is underway right now. We're running the sewer line, going to the Mountainside Mobile Home Park. And then we're working on the bridge at Rawson Avenue. And that's.
Aren't you kind of just waiting for the bridge to be delivered, more or less?
Well, we had to put the footings in, which they just did last week, and that's all done. Then they'll just have to put that. But one of the things that we're looking at now is the approach to the bridge is going to be like right now. You just drive up and it'd be pavement. You drive up to the bridge theoretically, or walk up to the bridge, and there's nothing there. I want to kind of make like a little kind of same thing we're doing over here, like before the bridge and then after it. So there's no sense in just walking up to the bridge with nothing there. You kind of want to have like some trees and maybe a bench or something, so that when you're walking up to it, you're kind of coming through the kind of, the tunnel of trees and getting to the bridge. You're not just looking at the bridge. You know what I mean?
I love that.
It'll soften the whole thing. Then when you're on the bridge, now it's opened up and you'll be able to look down the river and up the river, as opposed to just looking across.
Very nice.
People's behavior, what you're talking about. It affects people's behavior.
Oh, yeah, it does.
The whole thing.
Right.
Right.
So,
Yep.
looking at that right now.
Do you have a plan for that, or is this just like a goal?
I do. No, I kind of have a plan, and I'm working with the contractor because part of the agreement with them is they were supposed to be done by a certain date, and what's oh, okay.
Technical issue.
Anyway, he's gonna have to give us some in-kind work, and then I'm gonna.
What's going on, Molly? We want to know what's going on. I see Sam laughing too.
I didn't do
Just
it.
remember, you're on the record, so we probably
Oh.
want to
All right.
share what's appropriate.
It was nothing inappropriate. Just Zoom being Zoom.
Okay.
Fine for the record.
Can't be as bad as a select board meeting, right?
I think you got it, not me.
Anyway, yeah, so we're working on that. And I'm waiting to hear about the Emerald Ash Borer update.
Yep.
So we know what we're gonna do there.
Yep.
And we'll probably have to do maybe a fall planning with the group, I would think, sometime in the fall. We'll do what we did, maybe, was it last year or the year before we did that?
Last year.
Was it last year?
My calendar's filling, so we'll probably want to actually schedule something, just throwing it out there. I'm happy to help, but
I agree.
I have to be able to kind of target a day because it's a busy couple months.
Also very happy to help. I had a lot of fun with that.
Good. Yeah, when you're ready, just radio us and we'll see if we can just,
I'll send an email
Rally
around.
the
I gotta look at
troops.
my calendar too
All right.
anyway.
that's great.
That's it.
Good. This is what always happens. We forget to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Oh.
So has everyone had an opportunity to look at the minutes that Kathleen was so gracious to provide with us with?
Well, my name's spelled incorrectly, but other than that,
I looked at them. They look great to me. So make a motion, we accept the minutes.
with correcting my last name.
Huh?
My name's Olin, not Olson.
Oh,
But-
sorry.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's
People do it all the time.
embarrassing.
Well, we can correct that. If I had the Microsoft, the Word document, I'd do it, but I don't.
I'll
All right. Okay. So that's it?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Kathy.
And when Ellison arrives,
We'll go
be
with that.
good to get an update from her.
Yeah.
So why don't we just dive right into this Emerald Ash Borer situation, right? And since we had how many people had an opportunity to watch the video or the YouTube video of the select board meeting? Unfortunately, it was at the end, which meant you had to wait through the whole thing, watch, or just fast forward it, or do what I do, put it on 1.75 speed. Is everybody act like they're?
You guys did a good job, by the way.
Well, thank you. It was a good crowd.
Well, you had a great presentation that you had put together.
Well, you know what? It wasn't me. It was all you. Everybody provided some terrific inputs. We just put the skeleton together, and you guys put the meat on the bones. It was
That's
real.
not true. But anyway,
It's all right. I'm humble.
we pointed out spelling errors and stuff.
Well, yeah, but you don't want to look like
But
you
that's
don't.
helpful.
I think maybe I'm stretching a little bit here, but I think the Conservation Commission gained some credibility from the select board as a organization, a volunteer organization that cares a lot about the town. So, I mean, independent of the Emerald Ash Borer presentation, I think we gained a lot of credibility because we put a lot of work into that. And it was, so, but the upshot of it was we have, and correct me if you have any other information. We have the tentative approval to move forward with an Emerald Ash Borer preparedness plan. Barb and I met with Audra the following Tuesday, Monday, whenever it was. And just to kind of keep things moving quickly and keep while the momentum was going. And she said that it looked really good. And it seems like the funding is there, and that would come from that the funds that were taken from the violations and so forth and so on. And then Audra we asked what the next steps were. Okay, so where are we? What are to put a scope of work together. The scope of work outlines in detail the criteria to which the organization, the company we would work with to do the Emerald Ash Borer mitigation plan would the process they would go through, the expectations, the milestones, that kind of stuff. I put together, with Barb's help, a draft of that. And I really need everybody to look at it, especially Dave and Alice.
Send it out?
No.
Oh.
I didn't want to send it out yet because I just wanted to get everybody's inputs first and not waste everybody's time.
One of the big things I noticed that came out of that meeting was the select board's like, they don't know all the details of like this organic versus
Mm-hmm.
Shane's recommendation. I did a little looking at it.
Yep.
I think whatever's done, we should have like a professional's opinion of that
Mhm.
on the record,
Right.
like the pros and cons. So that's just my input on the whole thing.
Good point.
Like the Forest Service, somebody that's another party, so that we're not upsetting anybody that has a personal opinion about something. We want facts. What are the facts? What
Right.
do you recommend?
Right.
We don't want to waste the money on something that, all right, it might be organic, but it might not work.
That's the point. And we do know that.
And I don't know that, I don't,
Well, I've been doing some research on that.
Yeah.
And the product that the former tree keepers use,
yeah,
suggesting is a neem oil version,
yeah,
but it's a little more expensive, not a lot more expensive, but it needs to be done at least every 2 years, where the one that the Maine Forest Service recommends is at least about 3 years.
No, what, there's a range.
There's a range, it depends on the size of the tree.
Yeah,
2 to 3 years.
yeah, two, yeah.
So but what I suggest, before I knew that they don't have a license anymore, that they come
Well,
up,
he has a license,
he does.
but,
talking Shane.
No,
Shane would do whatever we asked him to do. I think.
well, I can elaborate on that because we also talked to Shane, but I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go
you.
ahead. So I was just saying, I was going to suggest that tree keepers put together a flyer that shows that there's another option for homeowners if they want to do that, giving them all the
Oh.
details. So it's a comparable, like how
So,
much per breadth.
I think
breath
the
height.
impression that they were trying to be participants in doing the work.
they sold the business, so they can't do the
I
work.
think they were just making like
She
they were giving their.
misrepresents herself. She presents herself
Yeah.
as this business, and that's true. But I don't think they could do this work.
They can't do it.
No, and I didn't get that. I didn't
She told me they couldn't do
I
it.
didn't
Yeah.
believe that's what they were trying to say, in my opinion. I
Mhm.
thought she was just trying
Yeah.
to say, hey, there's another alternative.
The consideration.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
maybe they want Shane to do that. They want Shane to do this other product.
I did some telephoning and stuff only yesterday.
Yeah.
It's really, the Canadians are doing this in a bunch of towns close to the center where the
Mhm.
people sell it. They sell it from Canada. They require, that the applicators be certified with the European organic certification, which tree keepers had, but as you say, are not, they're retiring basically. So then I thought, well, who else in the States, if anybody, is using this stuff? Because, Americans probably don't respect Canadians enough to just want to go over there and do it. Which maybe somebody should be exploring. Well, I think St. Louis maybe was doing something. This is like over a decade ago. And nothing was very new. And there's a town in Minnesota that's probably close to Sault Ste. Marie where this stuff is made. So it's like there's no established American thing happening except tree keepers were. And maybe still are, I'm not sure. But anyway.
I mean, there's no established.
But I don't think they want to plunge in. I don't think that's
I
it.
think we need to just kind of, hi, Allison, we need to separate into 2 pieces. One of them is what the treatment is, and the second one, who does it, right? Now, just for the record, Bangor is using imamectin benzoate. I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just trying to say,
This is what they're doing.
yeah, and if you look at all their documentation, as I did, and
Is this the one that starts with an E or an A?
E,
Emamectin.
EMAECTIN, benzoate, and it was recommended to them by the University of Maine. On the Maine Forest Service website, if you go up and look at pesticide treatments for emerald ash borer. Emamectin benzoate is the preferred. There are others. By the way, I didn't see any organic.
This neem oil.
Well, neem oil, the neem is, there's also the
It's a tree, right?
metocloprid, which is a nicotinide, which is derived from it's synthetic, but it's a plant-based
Right.
synthetic.
Right.
But that's not technically organic either. Right? And that's used a lot for Hemlock woolly adelgid. It also can be used for,
It's also not admired by the organic people because of killing some.
well, if the
Because of
soil,
what?
now, why is it important to differentiate between the type of the chemical used to treat in the company that does the work? Is because the technique they use, the stem injection versus drenching, that makes all the difference in the world, right? Because the stem injection is much safer than just dumping it all on the ground. Yeah, right. So now I talked to Shane. We were supposed to go visit him and it didn't work out, but he called me and we talked for 15 minutes. And he mentioned, I asked him about the triazine, which is not biological, I'm sorry, the organic.
Triazine.
Triazine, Treazin.
AZIN.
I think you pronounce it triazine.
I have a
Yeah.
poop sheet on it.
Yep. He said he can do that, but he said that he would ask us to sign a waiver that he cannot guarantee the efficacy of it as a treatment.
That always makes you feel good.
Well, I'm only telling you, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm
No, I'm
just
just
trying to
saying.
tell you what he said, okay?
But
You do this, but I'll sign a waiver that this one won't work.
He said it's
Doesn't mean
a
it
be-
won't work,
his-
it's less effective. The
It's his
science
best
shows that it's
practice.
less
It's the
effective.
best practice, right?
Work as well.
So,
It's less effective.
That's backed up by the Maine Forest Service. 'Cause
Right.
They said the only things they can recommend are things that have been proven to be effective. And this is not proven to be effective yet.
well,
It hasn't been proven, but there have been people who've been using it with success to some degree. But they don't have that, they don't have enough scientific
So
data.
can I ask another
Sure.
question? Do we have any, is there data out there that talks about the ivermectin being persistent in causing problems anywhere that they can point to, or
Avermectin, yeah. But
emamectin.
Emamectin.
the one that we're talking about for the emerald ash borer?
Yeah, emamectin.
Shane recommended.
Yep.
Does that one show like signs of causing problems to squirrels eating the nuts or things eating the leaves, or it's staying in the leaves once the leaves drop, or causing some kind of harm? Or there must be some data on that.
There is data, and we'll go back to your point. By the way, the organic has a higher. I got to watch out. I don't get too judgmental because I don't want to put myself in an awkward situation. The organic has the same problem as everything else.
Well, right.
I mean,
I know what you mean.
now it's
It's like the tick spray.
yeah.
Very similar to that. There's organic type. There's like synthetic organic.
Yeah.
I think the effect on other organisms is documented. It's
Yeah,
just
it is.
not paid attention to partly.
But
Well-
its effect is on the insects. It's not on necessarily the animals.
The-
But insects are food for some
Birds.
and things like that. But remember, it's.
I mean, we're talking bioaccumulation here.
Well-
You can't say it's fine for insects or it's, and then it's not fine for
Well,
mammals.
that's the question. I mean, there should be some
See,
documentation.
there's
of-
the Canadian towns that have been using it, and if we don't call them and ask them, then we're probably not going to find out. The company that sells this stuff says it doesn't affect the leaves. You can collect leaves from the tree, and
What are
it's
you
not.
talking about? Which now?
And
The
the
neem oil face.
Okay, I
the
just want to know
Nemo,
what products you're
yeah,
talking
the,
about.
the tree azine. The reason I pronounce it that way is not because I know, but because it sort of gets it away from sounding completely like a chemical. Triazine, actually, it may be something else. But so I don't think anybody knows enough. What we do know is that the United States is using the more toxic stuff, has a lot of experience with it, and we're probably going to have to go that way. But that doesn't mean the other stuff shouldn't be properly investigated.
Yeah, right, exactly. And
I would think you'd have like just a document that pros and cons of each, what's.
there
known.
is,
And then just like, that would be something you present to the select board and let them make a decision, I would think, or a
You want to
recommendation.
make you're going to want to develop an opinion and recommend something to the select board and show why that, show the trade-offs and what you've
Right.
learned, but the select board is going to do, you don't want to be like, well, we collected all this information and we can't decide, because you're going to be the best. You want to make a recommendation.
So
I also
I
feel
have a
like-
scientific documentation, a document put out by Purdue University. It documents the different approaches to treatment, so soil injection, foliar stem injection or trunk injection, triazin, or however we pronounce it, amongst all of the other options, organic or inorganic, chemically based, treatments are there. And I'm
Oh,
gonna
you're
send-
saying already that?
I'm saying, I'm going to
Purdue-
send this to everybody. It's a,
Oh, cool.
and you can all
I
do
have
your own.
one as well from the
I'm
Maine
sh-
Forest Service.
Sure, yeah, and,
It's on the Maine Forest Service. But
but
let's
there
go.
are still
Can I say
limited
something?
What should
options.
we do?
Sure.
I mean, what do you have an-
I just feel like, and if, well, of course, we do want to come to a conclusion about what we as the select board recommend the town spend on town-owned trees, et cetera. But I feel like as though it's also our job to offer to the public, to the best of our ability, information about organic alternatives, because
Right.
that's a very popular thing now.
Sure is.
Plus, it's a good
Right,
idea.
because there's a lot of ash trees that aren't on public property.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to want to know what the trade-offs are. We went through this a little bit with, actually a lot with the brown-tailed moth, when there was all that hysteria, which thank goodness has passed a little bit. But all of a sudden, we had to weigh all these things. People wanted us to spray the whole town with airplanes and, and then there were people that didn't want us to do anything.
Drones, airplanes.
But it was like I think what we found is there's like and the schools still do it, but there's like for 3 hours, what it really came down to was like for 3 hours after application, it was toxic for the bees. And so, it was helpful to have somebody narrow it down about like, what are we actually looking at here? But
You could go to the what is it, the federal thing that lists these, and they, there's like 6 pages of
The list of
the
lists.
answers. Yeah, what is it called?
The list of lists. That's what it is.
The official.
I mean, are there other places doing the
it's-
organic?
Yeah, I found online.
I mean, is this the kind of thing where almost everybody is doing a certain thing, they've researched it and there's a recommendation, and then there's a couple fringe alternatives that people think we should be looking at? And I'm not don't read too much into my language here. Or is it like a 50-50 kind
yeah.
of thing? Is it?
The triazin has been used widely in Canada and in
that's
select,
the
in
organic one
select,
or the-
that's the organic chemical application as opposed to the inorganic chemical synthetic application.
But they have different
Do you
different
think-
ways of applicating it.
They have what's up?
I think Brian said there's different ways.
Well, let's just, I
They
just
do.
want to go back a second because first of all, they're both pesticides.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's just I'm going to put that on the table. They're both pesticides. They both kill.
Let-
They,
Right. Lead is a basic
Yeah,
compound.
they're
that's
both
found in
pesticides,
naturally.
okay?
No
One's
gonna
synthetic,
dispute
one's
it's
organic.
Problematic.
I'm not,
Like,
I don't, whatever way we go is great. I don't know. Secondly, Bangor did an extensive study. They're using emamectin benzoate as recommended by the Maine, I think it's University of Maine. But what we need, I think, I don't think we want to be in a position, because none of us are entomologists or toxicologists or chemists. We need someone to give us an expert opinion, right? Don't you think? I mean, we can make all the recommendations in the world, but none of us have enough experience to.
But we have to figure out how
Close to
agreeing
the-
on who's an expert, you know?
That
I think
was
it's the main force.
that was where I'm going, and that's an excellent point. So, can we get somebody like Alyssa Gregory or somebody to be,
I
who
think
can
that's a great idea.
who can be the person to say, like, this is the way we would recommend you go? But either way we go, there's going to be positives and negatives for either one, right? I mean,
Right, like they do recommend emamectin. That's what they said when we were in that meeting.
Yeah.
That was the most effective thing.
And you
So we can
gotta,
ask
you also
them
have to kind of keep in mind, the reason why we're treating these trees is because they're mature trees and the trees have so many benefits to so many different humans, animals, insects, everything. And so to save the tree, even if it's poisoning it temporarily to kill emerald ash borer, it's a temporary situation to save, look at the bigger picture so that the tree's still there for all the birds and the insects and the humans and the shade and all that stuff. I mean, you have to kind of
Ask
balance.
Alyssa
But that's
to
true no
research
matter
the
which one you
alternatives
use.
so that she can come
who could,
with
yeah,
her, yeah, and
I
be
agree.
prepared to compare.
yeah,
I'll ask
And
her.
I'm sure she'll come down with a state. That's fine. That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
way we
right,
live.
yeah, right.
But we ought to know.
Yeah, we need a professional opinion,
We want
right?
professional opinion.
It's like going to a doctor.
Right.
I'm not a doctor. I'm you know what?
Alyssa is in a position to
Right.
research this
Right. She's
alternative.
got resources.
And she's probably got a lot of experience with who's done what,
And
right?
Not to be disappointed if it goes chemical, because it will, I'm sure.
Well,
No,
I'm
not
positive.
necessarily.
But
But-
I think
but we
we
could
we
offer
ought
home-
to know,
yeah, right,
because there may be people in town who are going to choose that.
right.
That's fine.
And that's great.
You know, I don't know who will do it, but
Ellison?
I agree.
One thing you might be able to also do, if it's the kind of thing where different professionals may make different recommendations, or they would say, well, you could do this, or you could do this, you could say, we're going to treat the majority like this with the state recommended application, and then
Right.
choose a subset of trees that you treat with the other thing, which might settle some of the,
Well, or
you
just
know,
let,
for almost politically as a way to.
or just, give, everybody the opportunity to choose it for their own trees. I mean, that's
Right.
the most important thing. I mean, we can
Always-
easily say, we as a town know that we'll get the best bang out of our taxpayer dollar for
Right.
using the highest,
Right.
potency chemicals, and that's our decision. But you guys, we know, might want to know about this other thing that's a little less effective, but probably good.
From what I read, I don't want to just create more controversy, is they both work. They both kill EAB, the borers. They both are effective. They both go into the leaves, but there's a very low concentration. The big difference is the benzoate can last 2 to 3 years, and the triazine is a year, maybe 2. So that it costs more because they need to be treated more often, right? So it's probably going to come down to a financial benefit.
But you said there was a different, do they apply different ones in injection and the other ones?
Both
It
both
kind of
triazine and emamectin benzoate
They're
can be
systemic both.
stem injected.
Okay, that's what.
And the reason it depends on the location of the tree. Like if a lot of the trees
Right.
in town will probably be injection, because to be the kind of one you put on the base of it, it has to be a tree that's not near a sidewalk, not near a driveway.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It has to be kind of out in the middle
Soil
of the.
drenching is a very,
What?
soil drenching is a very unique application for
Yeah.
a very specific site.
And it
But my
can't be-
research concurs, and my experience with EAB from Massachusetts up
Right.
to Maine over the last 20 plus years, Brian is spot on in terms of they're both effective. one's an inorganic, one's an organic. They're both pesticides. They both should be treated and thought of in exactly the same manner. There's pros and cons to both. The efficacy is 1 to 2 years on the organic. The efficacy is 2 to 3 years on the inorganic. We live in a society that tends largely towards the inorganic because we have huge corporations and that's just the reality. And, so they tend to be cheaper and more readily available. And that's so that's just where we're at. But
Right.
Tree mortality.
but the reality is, if we don't do something, we will lose the trees, period. Stop.
Exactly.
I have a colleague in Belfast with whom I met with just this past week for other reasons, but because, this is what we do. So the EAB came up. She did a preparedness plan about 18 months, 24 months ago, approximately, just finished it up right before Belfast was identified as having an infestation of EAB. So she thought she was 2 to 3 years ahead of it, and was hoping certainly that she was 2 to 3 years ahead of it, but she was much relieved. And there's a volunteer team that are working collaboratively to make next steps. But
That's really weird because I called Belfast and they said they didn't know anything and I should contact the Belfast Garden Club because the town doesn't know anything about planning for EAB.
well, maybe some of the politicians don't, but the citizens at large and
Right.
several other organizations are
Yeah.
right on top of it.
They
So
have
it's
stuff on the
unfortunate
Facebook
because
page.
they are,
I looked, I
they have a
That's
full
amazing.
plan.
Okay,
There's a full
cool.
inventory.
Good.
Sometimes one staff person, it's the same thing will happen sometimes if you
Yeah,
call
oh,
here.
sure.
Right.
And you get, one
I don't know what
department
you're
and they
talking
haven't
about.
been
Right.
updated on what the Conservation Commission is doing. So
Yeah.
sometimes
So
it's just an innocent,
Yeah.
wrong person.
There's also some talk on some of the arborist forums that triazine has got a 45% tariff attached to it now.
Also, the
Oh, yeah.
garden club told me that, the garden club lady told me that they didn't have any idea what they were doing. And
This is in
do I
Belfast.
have it, and let her know if, when I have ideas about what Camden's going to do. So
Gosh,
I don't know.
there's a full plan and a team of people working actively on it in Belfast. If you want to get in touch with me separately, I'm not going to announce her name and contact over the public forum, but I would happily,
So
share.
can we get,
So, but just to circle that back, what I wanted to illustrate from this conversation, though, is that, and this is something, she's working on forest remain futures, and a lot of this is sort of one of her ecological is climate adaptation, species, et cetera, and these forestry preparedness plans. And she's like, you have 3 years maximum to enact. And I said, well, we already have a plan and we've already got some support. So we're hoping to start now. And she's like, the sooner the better, because within 3
Did we-
years, just the migration, the entomological, like the biological migration of the insects, they will be here.
Yeah.
So we just need to be aware.
It looks like Molly, I don't know if anybody's trying to use the chat, but we should tell people that we're not monitoring the chat because, so
Yeah.
Molly
Yeah.
or whoever should just go ahead and speak right up.
Thanks. Do we have access to the Belfast plan? Is that something,
Well, I
I guess,
would.
actually, Allison, is that something that would be additive for the select board when we come to them? If we can show that another
think they
local
need to.
community's recently made comprehensive plan?
I don't know of a Belfast plan, but Bangor has a great plan and
Okay.
I have it.
It sounds like
And
there
it's-
is a
and it-
Belfast plan that
And
Rebecca.
it's, the program has been supervised by someone they've hired from the University of Maine.
Yeah,
So I can send that out if you want to read it. It's
I
really
think-
good. It's
Yeah,
it's the Infrastructure Committee. And it's a whole plan and it was Monday, May 19th, 2025. So it's a up-to-date plan. And it describes in vivid detail the whole situation, what the plan is, how many trees there are, which ones are going to be removed because they're compromised. There's a lot of dead trees in Bangor, in Belfast, that have already been infested with EAB, right? So they got a problem. So to your question, Molly, I'd suggest you look at I'll send it out to everybody. It's really good.
I think she was kind of also asking whether it would be helpful for the select board to know any of this. And I can't emphasize enough how much things should be whittled down for the
Right.
select board, which is why it's great that all this conversation is happening here, because what might be useful to the select board is included in your recommendation. These are other towns that are doing the same thing. If there are towns that are doing some kind of different thing, that might be useful too. But really sticking to, this is what we looked at. These were the alternatives considered. This is
Right.
what we recommend because of this, and this is who else is doing it. Less is more.
Good idea. I also just want to go on record as saying,
Ooh,
in case
I-
in case you guys
I
missed
send
it last
you
time,
everything.
the reason we keep talking about Shane, what's his last name?
Hendricks.
Is because he is the only licensed tree pesticide applicator in our area. The next nearest one's like Booth Bay, and that guy's very, very busy because they already have
So,
infections.
ju-
And the other one was Bangor.
Yeah, I guess,
like
but
that. So-
just to be specific, because I asked him about that. There's 3 pieces to this. Number one, a license to be a master or a pesticide applicator, which is typically owned by the business owner has that, like the Johnsons. The business has to have a license to apply it, and the people that apply it have to be certified to do the work. So the license is one piece, the business thing is another, and the people that apply it have to take classes and be certified. So
And
It's a
and
big-
have their CEUs up to date and be listed on
Exactly, right.
the
So it's-
DACF website on the pesticides applicators. website.
Right.
Exactly.
Remember when we met with the state and I asked about that, about having heard that we have only one licensed applicator in Camden, and they said, oh, no, that's not true at all.
Okay, they said that on that Zoom call.
I'll-
They said
I'll-
there were many people, but
Well,
that was from the state.
yeah,
But
Well, I'll follow up with that.
Maybe not that specific thing.
it was about,
Well, we
I'll
have
follow
many
up.
licensed pesticide applicators, and we got to know them all recently with our new ordinance. But is it specific to this?
yeah, it's for
Chemical?
ornamental, there's all kinds of classifications for pesticides, right? And it depends on what classification that license they have to do what, to do ticks, to do, there's agricultural pesticides, I'm sure Rebecca knows all about this stuff, right? So it's a complex,
Yeah, there are various licenses for
Right.
even for commercial application, and then so you have
Right.
to, and certain chemical products need additional certification, I guess, if that's the precisely correct
if
word.
you
but-
go up on the main Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry website, they have a list of all the pesticide applicators. I did that. And there are others in Knox County that have a designation 3A like Shane does. I think there's 2 that I saw, him and Timbercliff or somebody, I don't know. And I think that that's obviously important. We got to kind of sort through this. I think that, but to just try to tweeze this whole discussion apart, it seems like we need to get somebody to be our physician, make some recommendations based, like Alyssa, right?
I think so.
Right?
I agree.
The second piece is we need to identify regardless of what way we go, or both ways. If let's say, to Beatty's point, what if homeowners want to use organic? That's great. I mean, got to be careful we're not into the favored nation status or anything, because that's not good. But that would be great. And then the third piece of it is that we need to put a scope of work together, which was what Barb and I met with Audra to talk about the next steps. And she said it would be very helpful to have a scope of work, which identifies like, what are the steps that need to be done? What are our expectations for the pesticide applicator? What are their responsibilities? What are our responsibilities? I started to draft one with input from Barb.
It's pretty good, it's pretty extensive.
It's not long, it's a page,
Yeah.
but we're going to need you guys to look at it, everybody, right?
Probably Dave mostly, but
Wouldn't you just naturally talk to people at Bangor who have hired? I mean, see what they put for specifications? Like, someplace that has been undertaking the program.
What they put in for scope of work, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, how they design their contract with the applicant.
We can't hear Cynthia, just a heads up.
I was just saying that any town that has already undertaken a program and entered into a contract with an applicator, we ought to look at what kind of contract they devised with them and whether they're happy with it, and thought, on second thought, we should have asked them to blah, blah.
Right.
I
Allison
always-
has to leave in 15 minutes.
Okay.
I always think it's good too, if you could talk to somebody that put that program together, like in Bangor, and say, if you had to do it over again, would there be something you would have added or taken away?
That's a good point.
That's always a good thing to kind of like learn by someone else's, like, because they probably put a lot of effort into this, and they probably after the fact went, oh, we should have put that in there, you know, or.
Do you want somebody to do that?
Well, why don't we, my head's spinning a little bit, but that's normal for me.
You're in a head
Must be a
spinning
good sign.
situation.
Yeah, it looks like The Exorcist.
It's always more complicated than it seems, right?
Well, I actually don't think this is
It's
complicated.
not complicated.
I think this is pretty simple. It's identify the pesticide we based on recommendations of a professional and best, and what I would call best practices, right?
Mhm.
Second thing is the scope of work.
Right.
And the third thing is who we're going to work with.
Right.
And that's, I mean, I think the scope of work, the scope of work, yeah, it's a good idea to probably, I have no idea who in Bangor to speak with or anything. We'll need to figure that.
I can figure that out.
Good. Do you mind doing that?
Want me to? No.
And Barb brought up the fact that Allison has to leave in 15 minutes. If there was anything specifically you wanted to talk about before you go, because we still got time to continue this dialogue after you leave if you want. Or if you're good, you have any reflections on the select board meeting we were at, that things we ought to know, or?
I was very proud that you guys were my committee.
Thank you.
Reflections on this. No, I thought it was great and was well received, and that it seemed the select board will be eager to get a recommendation.
Right.
You don't need to, you're very gentle with, we're not saying one thing or another, or we're just, we're not making a recommendation, or the next one you'll want to be more like this is the recommendation.
Right.
And
Does that mean we will want to have a recommendation by the next select board meeting?
no, you'll want to have a recommendation by whenever you think
Okay.
we should do
I
something.
didn't know if it was like, oh, we should be prepared to present a formal recommendation at the next select board meeting. Or-
That's next week, maybe early October. How about that?
Yeah, no, definitely not the next select board meeting.
What Rebecca said and what you said at the meeting, and what they were saying, we're in the quarantine area and it's not really smart or wise to treat before you're actually in the hot zone or whatever.
Right.
That part I had a hard time with, because I'm always like this,
A lot of people do.
I'm like a proactive person, I want to like, for that kind of thing, I would think you'd want to get this stuff in the system of the tree, because like the beetle could fly here, from Belfast, like in one day. And to me, that's the way I'm visualizing.
In
it.
one day, that's what I'm saying.
The
It's
Maine
3
Forest
years,
Service
3
did-
years.
the Maine-
But you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just being sarcastic, but
So,
The Maine Forest Service said that's not true, that
That's-
you could be treating now, and a few people local in Camden are treating, who have specimen trees, private property.
yeah.
But it's what Shane told us that is his.
but that's what it says
No,
on the
actually-
website.
In the meeting we were in, they said
said that we-
Camden is quarantined, but they aren't in
Quarantine area. Well-
and they were telling us to look at the map and see that we are not yet in the area where they would recommend
Right.
undertaking treatment, and we
They
just,
didn't say it was against any rules. He said
no,
that's-
it's
No,
not
it's
against
not
the
at all. You
rules,
could
but they
do-
He
don't.
said you could treat them after they've been infected too.
That's correct. Okay,
So that's the part where you say, all right, do
So-
we want to waste our money doing it early, or do we want to do it like after we see the first signs of it, because even at that point, it's effective, 30%.
Up
Yeah.
to 30%. Ideally, not much more than 20.
Right.
Well, some places it says 50, some places it says
Sure.
30.
But that's like,
The tree can recover
Right.
if it's 50%, the canopy is 30%.
right.
I stand
So
corrected.
maybe that's like another thing that you're gonna have to, like, the committee might have to recommend is, we recommend maybe doing it a little early, or we want to wait until we see the first signs.
Well, I think the way, based on our meeting with Audra and the select board, I think we want to be ready in the spring, because you don't want to
That's the way
treat,
I-
you don't want to treat now anyway, because you can't really treat now, because you
Right.
got to wait till the sap starts to rise, maple syrup's time, right?
I think next spring would be a good
So
time.
we're targeting for spring.
Okay, so you got the impression from Audra that she nor the select board would say, oh, the state hasn't called us yet, so
we're
we're not
ready
doing
to-
it.
we
We
should be
want to do
ready
it
to go
next
in
year.
spring.
Okay, good.
We
I
want
think
to take a
people would like that.
little proactive
Yeah.
approach, not more of a reactive.
Especially where it's 14 miles away from here.
Right.
Belfast, as the crow flies, is 15 miles from here.
It's not far.
No, I did it Google Earth. I mean, it's like,
And
And
you know,
there's-
you talked about the quarantine zone and
Mm-hmm.
the prohibitions in the quarantine zone, but then you drive through Belfast and people are selling wood on the side of the road for campfires,
Yeah.
so
I
that
don't
to me
know.
means they're moving this stuff around.
Uh,
And even though there's rules about like being in the quarantine zone and what you can and can't do, doesn't mean everybody's following them.
Maybe somebody should call and report that and ask if that's how that all works and whether
Well, that's what
it's,
Brian had looked into, and he said, when you're in the quarantine zone.
I
and
know,
The-
but
the-
I know,
the
but you
management
actually have to call
monitoring is-
somebody and see
Right.
what, as we all know,
Possible.
everything in government works on the complaint-based system. There is no proactive enforcement.
Well,
It's
we
just a
need to be
sad
prepared for
truth.
spring to hit the ground running.
Yeah,
I
I think
agree.
everybody would be happy with that.
Yep. So irrespective, I mean, in best case, we don't have it here yet, and we can make the decision to pull the trigger anyway, right? It's not illegal to do it. It's just main service.
Plus, the one thing the state
Wasteful.
definitely said was that it's inevitable. I mean, it's not like you're not going to get it in Maine. It's just when, it's not if.
It's
So-
really, did we just say we're going to start treating before they recommend it? Because I don't know if it's really
We want
expensive.
to be ready
and-
by spring.
Yeah, we'll be ready by spring, and then we can make the decision. If
Okay.
it's
So
Ready, but not, yeah, okay.
not necessarily, but ready, right? To
Because-
pull the trigger, right?
one of the things they've also told us was that the Maine Forest Service says is most likely it's already in Camden, Rockport, other places.
Right.
It just hasn't been identified yet. And the people who normally identify it are arborists who are out cutting down trees.
Cutting
or something.
trees now.
Because you usually don't see them until you're really at the
Well,
top of the tree. Most likely.
You,
I mean-
no, you definitely aren't seeing it. It's impossible. I was looking for it at my house in Massachusetts, and until the trees were dead, I didn't know it was there.
So
So Allison, are you saying though that
Sorry.
you think that the select board would be inclined to hesitate about starting any applications until the state's map shifts its colors and includes Camden as a hot zone?
I
Potentially
really think that the
infected area.
select board needs really, like, if you guys strongly believe something is worth the investment and the
Yep.
pros and cons, then you should say that and explain why. I think it is not something that the select board, I care a lot about this, and I just want somebody to tell me what to do. So
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else on the select board has strong personal feelings that are going to be more, extreme than mine, or not extreme, but it'll be really important for you guys to develop. We think this is important to start
Yeah.
earlier. We think not, and understand any cost differences, and
So just to put it in context, the Maine Forest Service guidance verbatim, I'm reading it, ash that are in good health within a 10 to 15 mile zone of infested area can be treated with pesticides. That's recommendation. We're 15 miles from Belfast. I
Can
mean,
be treated before it's detected, or can
Yes.
be treated if it's within?
no, before it's detected. Oh, I'm sorry, Sam, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Before it's detected here, if the closest, we would be in the potentially infected area. There's 3 areas: infected, potentially infected, which is a bigger zone, and then there's a quarantine area. The quarantine area is where there's no known emerald ash borer infestation, but it's within, I forget what the geographic radius is. It's
Sure.
big. It's like 30 miles, 50 miles or something like that. The potentially infested area is within miles of the infested area. But the Maine Forest Service guidance is if there's a infested area, that they recommend treatment if you're within 15 miles of that infested area, but not
Right.
known infestation yet.
And sorry, and
Makes
just,
sense?
yes, but I think just to review the timing and why we would wait, am I remembering correctly that the reason we do not begin treatment, even though we know it's inevitable, we do not begin treatment prior to detection, because once you start treating, basically the time starts ticking until your treatment no longer is effective, basically. And we want to squeeze the most that we can out of
Yeah,
is that right?
just to be like clear, it's not a question of immunity. For example, if the treatment will last in the tree for 2 to 3 years, you can go back and treat the tree again and it will still work. It's
Right.
just, it's been diluted because it's been in the tree for a while, right?
Sure.
So just so it's clear, it's not like it's not going to work again in that tree. It's just you have to do it over again after 2 to 3 years, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's expense and effort.
It's all about expense and effort, right? Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
It's essentially like, when do you start the race?
Yeah,
And,
right.
but this is a race we're not actually going to finish. This is a race we have to pace our
Run.
way through, because every 2 to 3 years, we're going to need to have the funding, the energy, the political, volunteer, all of the commitment to continue
Right.
to keep it going. So once you start, you sort of
Well,
have to.
From a financial standpoint, as everybody already knows, if you decide not to do it, it's actually going to cost you more.
Way more.
Right. And sorry, and I'm sure this is in the literature and I just haven't absorbed it. Is there an end date? Is there and then after 15 years, you can stop treating and assume that the borers, or at this point?
At this point, there is not an end date. The current treatments are perpetual. That's why I
Okay.
said, when you start this never-ending race, we are
Right.
sort of committed.
like
It doesn't
the elm
mean that
tree?
there isn't research going on and that there aren't other alternatives and options, in the future. I mean, that's true with any type of.
It's like
Change ecologically.
Yeah, and there could be other biological. Allison, I just need to talk to you for 2 seconds. I can just go out there and talk to you if you want. I don't want to interrupt the meeting.
I mean, Castine's still.
Are you
treating
ready to
for
go,
the
or
emerald-
you-
I mean, the Dutch elm disease,
I
right?
was gonna, they are.
Are they really?
They absolutely are.
Because if they stop, they say that the trees will get infected or.
Yeah, no, that if they stop, that's it. And that's the only treatments that they have, are this particular systemic for the,
But they plan
Dutch elm
for, they
disease.
plan for it every year.
and they have lost some
Right.
over decades now. And they've cut them down, and it's really sad because they're, as big as a room, right?
Right.
But I can say, as someone who grew up only seeing a literal handful of individual species scattered between Vermont and Massachusetts prior to coming to Maine, when the first trip I made to Castine, this is just kind of a visual to keep in mind. My first trip to Castine, I was like, what is different about this town? I live in a seaside community. And I was like, there's something distinctly different about walking around this town. And we finally got just far enough away on a street line. And my husband's like, what is that tree? And I look up, and I literally was aghast, because I'm like, oh my God, that's a literal American elm tree. And I was like, and another, and another. And I was like, that is literally why this town feels and looks different. The trees were as old as the houses around them, and older. And I was like, that's exactly it. So,
Same thing.
the townspeople, the community members, and multiple generations of them there can attest, if we need I think Camden's pretty proactive with its street tree, and other kind of ecological ethos, but they could literally explain like what it's like to live with these, these beautiful beasts, if you will, like these, these,
Beings.
yeah, they're just, it's, it's unimaginable until they're gone, right? You just can't understand what losing that kind of volume of canopy is like, but it's real. And we live like driving distance of, that's that kind of tangible, that effort. So doing this will help. And again, they're able to create seed banks. They're able to, to grow more of these for the future. So not losing that whole canopy structure and that age class within the town makes a huge difference.
That
So
would be a question I would have.
I didn't know they had them.
Thank
it's impressive. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Kathy, I don't know if I have your phone number because I've been I wanted to connect with you I keep thinking I'm going to see you, but when I always see you and it's not convenient. I want to connect you with the app and get you logged into the tree app.
Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll give it to you.
Next.
Also, I'll wait till Brian comes back, but I wanted to also mention that we should have a public informational
All right,
component to
that's-
this, because
It's on the
I
agenda.
feel like actually the story that you just told is very powerful. And I think people have to connect emotionally
We're
to
planning
this.
it. We're planning. We're just trying to pick a date.
You what? I'm
We were
sorry.
trying to pick a date. We were going to
Right.
do it.
But
today's
even
meeting.
in this, like, have that plan for the springtime
No.
too, so that
Well, oh,
we
yeah.
can- we can have like a question and answer and have some kind of, these are the two pesticides, just get the
so-
public involved, because I think that's part of our,
But the first one, I'm thinking is to do maybe the first week in October, maybe late September, but my September's filling up so fast, it's crazy. But I'm kind of thinking like our meeting next month is October 1st.
uh-huh,
And then having this public thing, we're thinking at the Village Green, and it's basically just an informational thing. This is what an ash tree looks like. We can show them Johnstone Concrete Pact. Tell them a little bit of the basics, that we have this, emerald ash borer and it kill the trees, and just kind of a basic information thing. And
On the
have
Village Green?
I'm thinking the Village Green because it's nearby Johnstone Chiropractic, and they have two big ash trees there. We could cross the street and see them.
Show some of the big trees.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that's why
trees.
we were thinking there.
Yeah.
And they would
Yeah.
have handouts about the pros and cons of treating it versus not treating it and the costs and stuff. That's where I was going to invite. Organic and stuff. And so it wasn't going to, and then be available for more questions. And then that would just be a start. So people would start, well, before all the leaves have fallen off the trees, they'd have an idea, wait, do I have an ash tree? And they can start paying attention. So so we might have to do it before October.
I think you might have already missed them if you're telling me that they'll be coming in October.
Well,
There's
we gotta
also-
put-
Well, then we have to do it sooner than
Green
that.
ash and the white ash. The white ash is the native, the green ash is
Right.
planted by the tree services for years and years and years. Johnson's are green ashes,
Well, I'll have to look at, we'll
Yeah.
figure out, we'll have to do it before the leaves come off the
but they're
tree.
both gonna die, so.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
know. And so maybe we have to do it before that time. So maybe later this month. But it was going to be basically a basic information meeting for the public to see what an ash tree looks like, give it little information. We'll have some flyers, which
Do we want to, have
And then more involved one in the spring. Yes.
all right, I'm just thinking about the recommendation on what pesticide we recommend. we
Well, I
go.
don't think that that's critical for this
All right.
public information. I was
Yeah,
thinking,
I love the idea, Barb, of that timing, getting people while the leaves are still on, and also pulling the public in earlier in the conversation. And I think bringing them together to learn a little bit and start thinking about it before we have even our formal recommendations. I think that can help with buy-in psychologically, to not feel like
Yeah.
we brought them to tell them what to do. but brought them in early in the process. And if there's someone who feels strongly, they can get involved in the work that's being done. Yeah, so I like that a lot. And I think it's okay and actually maybe ideal to not walk into that initial meeting with a plan. And then the second thing I wanted to say is to maybe invite one of the local newspapers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
good.
we can reach beyond the small group that shows up for the actual event.
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to comment to our group is that maybe cooperatively or something, put together an article for the local papers about that we're doing this and include some of this information. You know, how do you know if I have an ash tree, and just the basic stuff. Why is it important to keep them, and just kind of the basic stuff that all the people have to know initially.
Are you
Without
talking
getting
about-
into super detail about the differences of the different pesticides and stuff. And that could be, we could have pictures and stuff like that and put it in Pin Bay Pilot and Village.
Would the event be on a Saturday or what?
I don't know.
Well, we gotta figure that out because it's like working people.
Well, it's going to be when it is, and you
Cool.
can make it or you're not. But I mean, Saturdays are really hard.
If
for
we
me.
want to do it,
Media does a good job.
if we want to do it before October, we better
I know,
talk
that's why I
about
want to
the-
pick one.
the town.
So, I mean, well, then, so the 18th and 19th is Common Ground Fair, but maybe the next week or something, or maybe on a Friday or something. And everything we do, we could back it up with information for the newspapers. So people can't make it, because if some people can't make weekends, and some people can't make weekdays, and some people can't make school time, and some people
Right.
can't make it unless it's after school time. I mean, it's just like,
Well,
nothing's perfect.
Saturday.
What?
Saturday morning.
I can't do Saturday mornings, but you guys can do it all if you want.
Wait,
And I'm
where,
also going to have tree tags. We're going to get tree tags, and they're supposed to be here at the end of this week, I think, or maybe next week.
good,
And I'm going to start
Yeah.
putting
great.
them up if someone wants to help me.
Yeah.
Just 50, then we'll do more tree tags
I'll help
later
you.
in the fall. Okay.
So the format of this meeting would be like set a table up out at the Village Green or something? Is that what you're
Yeah,
thinking?
that's what I was thinking, like, and just,
Yeah.
we make a little info thing taken from the main, from various online sources is, do I have an ash tree? I mean, there's lots of
Right.
things. Then we maybe have a little blurb, the town has, X many ash trees, and we're actively looking at how we protect them from this situation.
Right.
Maybe we have the most current map of where the emerald ash borer is, maybe a poster or something.
Yep.
And,
Sounds great.
we can have cards for like Shane Hendricks and tree keepers if they really can actually do it or whatever. And just so people have options to take business cards if they have their own trees to deal with.
And emphasize where there's a place to put a shade tree if you're worried about losing your ash. Put it in
We're going to
early.
do that too.
so are we talking about Saturday, September 20th? My birthday?
That's the Common Ground Fair weekend.
Yeah.
Right, it is,
That's right.
but
I
weekend after that, I'm gonna be away, and that's almost
about-
October.
What about the
How about the
27th?
Or I couldn't do the Saturday. I can maybe do the 27th, but that's kind of late.
Yeah,
Um,
so are we talking about the
I mean, we could do
13th?
like a weekday at 4:00, so people could get out of work a little early, or
Yeah,
the kids pick up the kids. And like I said, anything we discuss or any information we have, we can duplicate it into a newspaper article.
A what?
We could duplicate it as well into a new newspaper article. So that some
Newspaper
people
article, okay.
want to be there and see it. Other people miss it because of whatever.
Yeah.
And, or if unless you want to do it on a Sunday, I can maybe do a Sunday. But then people have church. See, like, there's kind of no perfect time.
Yeah,
So,
it's true. But also, I was thinking, I didn't do my homework for this meeting about having a long-range plan, but if we have an educational component to this committee, we could have I could approach the library and see if they wanted to have speaker series on trees, like a range of topics, and have this topic also in the springtime. And just be a sort of ongoing presence about,
we maybe do it like in the library, we could have something there. And just before ash trees start to come out
in the springtime.
in the spring, in the
Yeah,
library. And then
right.
maybe it can be Zoomed or something so people
Right,
can watch
yeah.
it. So that by then we'll have more information,
Right.
up-to-date information. So
Right.
we could do that as well.
The
So it's
library
just
might
on-
allow a little exhibit that was just in, a a stationary exhibit that has ash,
Gotcha.
EAB and ash tree information.
Yeah. So it's just on people's radar, because I think your
Yeah.
response about how you called up Belfast and somebody who works there had no idea. I think that's very common, and it's just that it's not on people's radar.
Yeah,
Right.
And
right.
if we make it, we sort of, we're, every month we have a EBA nudge about something, or just either, like a event on the village green, or lecture, or just have it planned out so that people are starting to think about this.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
about
it's-
every month, but
Or
I
just,
definitely
or
think
have some,
an
just-
introductory thing in the fall while we still have leaves,
right,
and
and
have
then,
another major thing in the spring before the leaves come out, and maybe
Right.
something else in the winter that's maybe just newspaper articles. and
Oh, we
stuff.
could also have a little exhibit that, like a trifold that could go a number of places, that like it could move around town,
It
like
could be in the town office window. It could also be at the library.
right, and or like a church vestibule or something, just go around town.
I was gonna say that I think probably just generally, you're not gonna get even anybody who shows up to an event in September, like maybe they remember, maybe they can make it, maybe they can't, but just in general, just the way our silly human brains work, like people are gonna need repetition, they're gonna need different times, they're gonna need varied times, varied days, and to your point, Barb, like schedules aren't gonna work for everybody, so we do what we can and we just do it over and over and over again until people can't help but identify an ash tree, whether
Yeah.
they want to.
Right. I mean, the idea is so people just keep seeing it. It's like, what are they talking about here with this
right,
stuff? I mean,
those
just like-
tags, I
It's
think,
just
are
like, how
gonna,
many years were they talking about the dam removal? 4 or 5 years? And some
exactly.
people were figuring out the week before. It's like, where have you been?
Yeah, but
Like,
that's a
so
good
it's just
example.
Like,
People are
How could
busy
you
and
not-
we empathize with that.
I know, I mean, I'm just saying though, that's
Right.
just, you're gonna get
Yeah.
people who don't pay attention at all until it's a little bit too late. But
Not in
if
a
we-
malicious way, but
no,
because
I know,
meant-
I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying some people just
I
don't
just-
pay attention
Well-
to it. They blank it out.
The other place we ought to check with is Merry Spring too, because they do all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They would
And
do
I
a
don't-
program, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're great. John Fromer, do you know John?
Yeah, he's good.
really
He's very good.
He's a great teacher.
Could be part of a
Yeah.
Tuesday talk series.
They charge some money though.
Okay,
for the-
so
They don't charge any, they charge, they have a,
Well, they have these Tuesday talks.
yeah, that it could be
Which-
integrated to.
It's not huge. but
$4 or something.
$10.
Another outreach, you just.
Well,
But anyway, so are we going to do an event in September? Can we
So that's what I'm
focus?
trying to decide. I mean, like I said, I just think there's no perfect time, but I
what
don't think
about the 24th or 25th?
I could do the 24th or 25th.
I definitely can't do the
What month?
24th.
September,
September, yeah.
this September?
Yeah, maybe,
30?
yeah, 3:30, 4.
So my truth is that I don't know that I'm gonna have a lot of time between now and then to participate much in like creating a poster and all of that. Is there someone who thinks that they want to and can do that by the 24th or 25th, or are we being too ambitious?
A poster? Like just to
Well,
put up?
well, like I said, I'm thinking of having like maybe 2 different handout type things, like that are basic stuff that we can kind of copy from existing things that's on like the Maine Forest Service and other places. I'm
Just
sure.
download stuff from the
Yeah,
Maine Forest Service.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
And
there's
great
utilize
stuff.
it. It's already there, ready to
it's
go.
already there, it's
It-
ready to
you
go.
don't
There's
need
lots
to
of information.
duplicate
And then,
it.
Yeah.
then we'll, but right beforehand, we could have an enlarged picture of the current map, because it's always changing, where it's at, so people can visually see, oh, it's all around us. And then maybe business cards for people who can help them treat trees. And then with us, maybe speak a few words, show them an ash tree and talk about it a little bit. So,
I think
I
she
don't-
was talking about a poster for advertising the event,
Yeah.
weren't you?
for advertising.
No, I was
Oh,
talking about
okay.
whatever materials
Oh, okay.
we want to have
Yeah, because we'll
available.
get something
Talking
on
about the trifold might not be there.
September 11th. They might have materials too.
I'm sure there's
up
tons.
and
There's a-
zillion things
There's
going
a
on.
guide on the Department of the Maine Forest Service called Saving Your High Value Ash. It's a homeowner's guide to saving, it's great. I read it already. And I mean, that we could just hand that out, right? To your
Yeah, I
point.
mean, yeah, we really have to think of
Ash
this
treatment guide.
as a homeowner's like event.
It's a beautiful, it's right, I can send it to you guys.
Because like that's almost a separate issue from what the town is going to do about town
It
trees.
talks about the map, it talks about what to do if you're in a certain area, it talks about different treatment strategies.
Yeah,
I mean, if we, so the elements of this event would be like ash tree ID, raising awareness, ash tree ID, right? The, like, how do you know you have an ash tree? Some kind of a guide to what to do if you do have an ash tree, how to prevent it from
But
being,
it's-
and then, I'm thinking about, I don't know why we can't use existing resources already.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I had.
Project Canopy is part of the state, and I think they would just say what you've already said.
Right.
It might be good to check in with them in case they have specific suggestions.
I think they
Jan
were on
Santerre.
that Zoom call, the lady who's associated with Project Canopy.
So there's
The
one
art-
thing here, it's from the Maine Forest Service that talks about outreach and things that communities should do. And the key thing, I mean, I think right now we're just raising awareness. You know, we've already, so that's our first thing is basically raising awareness of it. And then over the winter, we can have maybe a Zoom thing to the library in this winter or Merry Spring or at the library in the winter and spring or whatever. So where we get more involved in the types of pesticides or whatever, or pros and cons of removal versus non-removal, or we can get more deep into the
Right.
weeds about the whole thing. But if we're just, the first one's just basically raising awareness that this is right in our doorstep, and we have to start thinking it out.
So who's going to be the spearhead putting this together?
I'll do it.
And then if you need help, you want to ask us to help you out?
wait,
Of course.
did we already decide the
Resources?
day?
What?
I missed it.
The 24th or the 25th was what Sam,
That's two
suggest-
different ideas, so which one?
Let's just
I don't know.
I can't go do anything on the 24th, I'll be out of town.
This
That sounds
is
like the
September,
25th.
right?
The 25th is a Friday, right?
25th is okay with
Thursday,
me.
Oh, Thursday?
Yeah.
25th works for me.
And there would be outside event.
Right. And outside it, I'm thinking the Village Green.
I mean, I can probably
Yeah,
bring a
okay.
table and
Yeah.
that kind of,
I
I mean, I can do some
And
stuff
it
too. but-
won't be super, I'm not expecting hundreds
handing
of
out
people.
information,
Yeah, it's handing out information, raising awareness, have a news flash about it. If you'd like, coming. So this is the beginning of educating the community. It's the
How do we
first step.
advertise it?
Training, can we use this room?
Sure, probably.
What
Barb says sure.
I'll bring an
Need a
umbrella.
press release, right?
I would imagine we would be able to.
I have a little tent we could set up.
Yeah. that'd be
Nobody
fun.
will go anyway, so we'll be under the
We
tent by
might get 5
ourselves.
people and we might get 35
Cozy.
people, but it's-
So,
What time?
how about something like 3:30?
Yeah, because it's starting to get dark.
Because it's starting to get dark then. I mean, what do you think?
I think,
Any other suggestions?
I can't, I'm close.
Just
I
take
think
notes.
that's,
how about noontime?
What do you guys think?
I think it's a good start. I think
Yeah,
we
we
should
could
just
do noon because
always,
it might be, people might want to stop during the lunch
but
hour.
we can, this could
Could
be
set
a
it up
road
at
test
lunchtime
of other
and
things.
take turns.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, noon.
I mean, Dave was starving,
And we
you
could-
know, this meeting is at lunchtime.
Yeah, I was too. So,
Bring it.
why not just stay from noon till 3?
Till it
I mean,
dries
we
up.
can come and go.
I'll say, so the 25th at 12 o'clock,
Yeah.
Village Green,
Noon to 2:30.
Yeah,
whatever.
And
Yeah.
now we have like,
Then,
Sam,
Wait,
do you have
wait.
a different opinion as a young 9 to 5er?
Sure.
I'm plugging I'm gonna do my best to come by for sure. I can't say-
We know it's not going to work for you necessarily, so don't worry. But we
Yeah.
might need your help with
how do we get
designing,
publicity?
Somebody should write a press release, right?
that's what I'm saying, press releases, the papers and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can always call and try to hook somebody.
I
We
can
could have-
help
we
out
could
with
have a-
that.
We could have an Instagram and Facebook event site, like you're invited and blah, 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 have people send it around.
Sam, can
Sure.
you help out with that, you think?
I can help out with some of this. Yeah, I just need
Something
to.
really little, kind of like,
So
like it might take an hour to just send
I
it,
think
I could send up an event. I
like
could
the
do that.
poetry thing, right? Kind of, it's the same.
I can set up an event thing.
Okay.
you guys
we-
put a lot of work into that
Yeah.
library event and it
But
showed.
I
It
just,
was
I mean,
really
like,
nice.
maybe this could be the first that we're doing, but we're just doing this over a period of time to keep on nudging people
Right,
about
and
this
then-
and make it
Yeah.
present.
And if anyone
So-
has ideas,
Yeah,
And the tree tagging could be part of it too, right?
and I'm not very artistic or anything, but I can provide information if someone wants to start thinking about the trifold thing that we maybe have one or two, and it's ones that.
You're artistic with plants.
I think we'll, after doing this and after going to the September 11th thing, we'll have a bunch of ideas of
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
want to use for.
So,
We could even send a
Display.
picture of the tag to the, to people as, because it sort of looks like a yard sale tag to me when you see it.
Does it?
A little bit. It's like, especially it has, what is the monetary
the
value
value
of the tree?
yeah.
And
Because
so
it-
it's an eye-catching thing. We
Right.
could have that
And it's only on the tree
on
for a
Instagram,
few
like
months.
what is this thing?
Right.
Something
And
that is gonna
The
catch
other- the
people's
other thing I was
attention.
reading when I was reading about this, is that ash trees, as do basically all other trees, most other trees, is they also help with stormwater management. So if we lose trees, that just increases our stormwater problem, which is a massive problem for the town right now, which is, too much stormwater. So that's just, it's like affects so many things besides just the insects and the birds and shade and, reducing heating costs. It's also affects our water problems, as Molly probably can indicate because of the tree clearing at the top of her street. You are aware of that. You probably get affected by that too. So,
Me too.
and you too. So, I
Um,
mean, so those are all things we can help
Right.
people.
I guess it's sort of like, what kind of campaign are we gonna have here? That's the bigger issue. If we are gonna have one or no, over the
Well-
long term, just something to think about. Because
It's
it's like
basically
to get-
an awareness campaign.
to get people involved and to have, because if it takes forever to do these injections, I
It
think,
doesn't take forever.
no, I mean, you
Get
said
them
it could go
going.
on forever,
Oh.
almost. Then we should have some public support at the beginning.
Yeah,
And people should be
definitely.
invested. And so every year when this comes up, it won't be like, this is our taxpayer money's going to
Right.
this.
Why are we
They'll
doing
feel
this?
ownership in it, I think. And if there's more
Yeah.
public engagement. and people-
Definitely.
People feel this is our town and our trees.
Yep.
Then we should
Well,
have like
it-
some kind of
But the cost actually,
plan
I mean,
about
I
it.
don't know if you were here last month, were you there? But I mean, the cost of not treating a tree
It's really
is
expensive.
is
That's a
astronomical.
really good point that I think
That's-
people
Yeah.
don't even think
The
about.
state said that they had calculated it's ridiculously more expensive to take
Because
down
the
trees.
tree dies. You
Right.
lose all of its benefits for one.
Right.
But then you have to have someone cut it down, which is usually thousands. And that's just cutting it down. Then you have to have somebody, if it's a town-owned tree, the Public Works Department would have to get, a truck and one of those crane things to pick up all the logs and get rid of them. Then, although that wood has to go to a special quarantined area for that wood. It can't just go to the dump.
Right.
It can't,
Yeah.
Oh,
it has
yeah.
to be, it has to be away from other trees. It has to, so it gets very expensive to not save the trees.
Right, which is a
So-
really good point that I
so,
think,
and-
we could put that in the public awareness
Right.
campaign.
You,
But we should all
you
know
guys
that
ought
so
to
that we talk-
read the Bangor. I'm going to send it to everybody. You need
Okay.
to read it because it
Okay.
covers all this stuff.
Okay,
I don't know if anybody read the article about California in the New York Times Magazine about this very wealthy town by the Pacific Palisades that had to get rid of the waste of the fires in their dump. It's the town that the Kardashians live in. And basically, they had did anybody read it? It's very interesting because the only mechanism they had to not have this toxic waste put regularly in their dump, which they didn't want, was their conservation committee. And they were getting like thousands of dumpster stuff of toxic ash from the fires being put into their dump without it being tested. And they said on the Conservation Committee that only works with trees. It was sort of like, we can't believe this is going on and it's just the Conservation Committee. And when I read that thing, it's like, it's not happening here, but it's just like, there's a lot of, what am I trying to get at here? There's a lot of inherent power in a way from this small committee that if the public's engaged, they have more of a buy-in. And this
Yep.
was a good example of where people were just outraged. And these were wealthy people. They still got stuck with a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
So it's just an interesting example of how,
Yeah, well, we can build a coalition. I mean, this is amazing what we can do. And
right,
just to get people motivated and, because, one way or the other, it's going to cost everybody if we don't do anything, whether it's financial, aesthetic. I mean, this is like, this situation at Belfast, I'm not sure exactly what the story is. I Googled Belfast Emerald Ash Borer, all kinds of stuff. And I didn't get much of anything. We know it's there. I'm not saying the community doesn't care. I just don't think they have a coalition like yet. I don't know. Maybe they do.
or they
But
don't,
but Bangor sure as hell
they
does.
don't have that public face to it, I think, maybe.
Well, Bangor does. And they're
Okay. send us
astonishing
the
what they put
Bangor
together.
thing. Let's
But,
look at it later.
So you're going to put together some kind of a,
Well, I'm going to just start collecting all the resources I've been saving online
yep,
and try to get sum it down to take the key things out that I
Yep.
like from different places, so that we can get like a one-page thing that is not like a one-page thing people can look at over coffee and say, okay, you have a clue of what it's all about. And as well as, I would imagine, at the time, we could have an updated map of where it is and information from people who can do pesticide management. And then I would imagine we have a table where we're all talking about why this is good and the pros and cons and why we need the trees and just
how
like
much
I
it
said,
costs if you don't do anything.
how much it costs if you don't do anything, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll have to leave in a few minutes.
We could use elements from that presentation we put together
Right.
too,
Yeah. that'd
as
be good.
part of the graphics, because
If-
those numbers are all there and everything.
Barb's leaving in a few minutes. I just need clarification on
Sure.
the rollout of the tree tagging. Did you say that you were just going to do that? Or
Well,
you
no,
and Kathleen,
I'm
or-
getting, the tree tags should be here. I thought you said the end of the first week in September, but I have a feeling it's going to be next week. So once they come, I'll just send an email. Anyone else who can help me do some tagging
Okay.
at our, we can
I'll
do a
help you.
couple, we can do a couple, whatever. We'll just start getting some out. There's an online calculator.
Okay.
I think I need purple ribbon or something like that, which I'll get.
Okay, so
And we'll
you'll
just
be the
start-
contact.
Yeah, I'll say, I got the tree tags, who can help me? And we'll fit in when
Okay.
people can do it. A little here, a little
Cool.
there.
All right.
We won't have a big party to do it all at once. We'll just start all doing it.
Yeah, but just, yeah, that sounds
Starting
great.
in town as much as in town as possible.
Okay.
So before you go,
Mhm.
you're going to go soon? Like you have to leave at 2?
Yes, I have to do it too.
I just want to kind of wrap up roles and responsibilities, who's doing what, right? I'm going to do the scope of work. I'm working on that.
And I'm going to work on the presentation for the 20.
Cynthia,
Scope of work, I thought I was going to talk to Bangor about what their scope of
I
work had
put one
been.
together already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you're going to.
Check and see if they have anything different on theirs
Kathy,
than
can you send
ours.
me your-
And then we can look compare,
phone number?
right?
You're going to send yours out to everybody now?
Yep,
Okay.
I'll send it out. And then
Okay.
there was this whole issue of getting a hold of Alyssa Gregory and trying to get a
Because Dave-
expert
Dave wants-
opinion on what
Yeah,
Oh, good.
treatment
Because if
we
you are
should
hard
go
now
with.
in spring,
yes. Are we going to try to get her to come to our meeting, next meeting, to say that?
I don't know.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, what do you
I'm just gonna
think?
Text you just so she'll mind.
Is she willing to do that?
Barb, do you think that Alyssa, or does anybody who knows
If we-
Alyssa
if we feel
think
like
that
we have
she
to-
could come to our next CCC meeting and,
Well,
It depends
us-
on her schedule. She could at least Zoom in.
that's what I was
Um,
saying.
okay,
Yeah,
We feel like we have to have her.
But
she can come to
I
this.
do think that we should be, our scope of work should be outlined and agreed to, our research with Belfast, Bangor, whomever. I mean, she's stretched pretty thin, so I think we should be really clear as to what we
Well,
want her there for and have like a list
it
of sort of
was
questions or outlines, but
recommend the pesticide per best practice pesticide to use.
And her opinion of the neem oil one.
Could come in
Well, I
an
mean,
email.
like the pros and cons, right?
I gotta say, best practices is used by the industry, and it really includes economic things pretty thoroughly. I'm not saying we shouldn't go with best practices, but it is.
It's a term of
abused.
art. Yeah.
Well, I guess when we discussed it earlier, I was of the opinion, which doesn't amount to much, that the purpose of getting Alyssa Gregory
Oh, yeah,
involved
no.
was for us to get some guidance from her as to what best practices we should use as a community in terms of our choice of pesticide for the AAB treatment.
Yeah, I think we agree that we want to know what the best thing to do would be. But I
Yep.
think using the term best practices is sometimes, it's an industry term that signals, this is
A recommendation.
whatever. So
Well, it's
that's what
not-
she
it's
was
not just the-
distinguishing.
Good choice or something like that.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know, best
yeah.
practices.
It sounds scientific
about
and it's
options?
actually very economic.
Well, it's
Oriented.
also involves the pesticide, the way the treatment occurs, when
Yeah,
the treatment
sure.
occurs. It's a whole process, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I think of it.
It is.
Not just,
I'm just
know.
warning you that in the organic mind, best practices means money, but it's not just that. So I'll give you that.
okay, whatever. I'm just trying
I'm
to be
sorry.
like, that's, in my world I came from, that's what you would probably be
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you know. If you went in to have surgery and you were going to have your appendix removed, how would the surgeon do it?
Well,
That's
they're
the best
talking
way.
about your life, but we're talking about a lot of lives.
Right, all right.
Also, before Barb slips out, the item on the agenda at 2:00 was whether Nancy Johnson,
But she can't come. So
She's
she-
not gonna
yeah,
come.
since she's not, but I just have to,
I already told her she can come to the next meeting.
okay, and I talked to her about that as well, and she wanted me to call her after this meeting and say what people concluded, should she
you
come to
want
the next, do you still feel that she could come to the next meeting?
I already invited her. She's
All
already been
right,
told she
so I
can come to the
guess
next
that
meeting.
answers the question.
But if you want to call her, you can.
We haven't finished with the Alyssa Gregory thing. Sorry to be like, I just want to make sure so are you guys, are we all on the same page about contacting her to
Yeah.
get?
Maybe just have her join by Zoom, because that's my thinking. But we'll see
But
her
we
next
need an
week.
expert opinion, right?
Right, we'll see her next week, and we'll ask her whether
and-
she
okay,
has
we'll
an
see.
expert
That's a good
opinion on
answer.
that. Okay,
That's the 11th, right?
yep,
In case if two of you are there, there's
Yep.
two sets of ears representing, and you could ask her to follow up with an email.
Yep.
Right, so it's in
Right.
writing.
I'm not sure I can make it, but I'm going to try.
okay.
If you guys want a carpool or something, let are you going, Cynthia?
Yes,
And Barb, you
So-
going to go?
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
But you can reiterate it. She did call me and say, thank you for inviting me to the next meeting, but.
I know, so I just wondered if we still,
What we
but
discussed.
given what we just, our discussion today, whether we still
Excuse me.
wanted that as an agenda item.
But you
so.
can watch the video,
She can
the
watch the
YouTube. I mean,
guys.
like, you know,
Yeah,
I- it kind of puts you in a pinch point to represent all
Well,
of us, to tell her what,
no, I mean, she claimed that nobody had returned her call about
that's not true. I
Having-
talked to her live.
about-
Bob called her
about
back.
not being able to come to this one, and could she come to the next one? And, but she wants to get a formal yes or no. And so I just said that I would call her back and say what we said, that yes, we want her to come to next meeting or not.
Put her on the agenda. She needs to come,
Right.
period, because it's important. I mean, and that's exactly what happened this meeting.
Well, she says that she had already had her appointment scheduled for today at this time when she was invited to come to this meeting. That's what she
That's
said.
like totally confusing to me, because when I talked to her, I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like totally confused.
It is confusing. That's why I wondered if we still wanted that item on our agenda next week,
There-
next month.
Okay, and fine. I don't
So
wanna
yes,
get-
we do, or, Still want her as an
I'm
item?
not, by the way, I'm not sure. I don't think I can make it to the next meeting anyway, but it doesn't matter. You guys can, you know, I,
Okay, here, I guess here's the question. Does anybody still on the committee? Does anybody who's on this committee want to have a presentation by Nancy Cotter Johnston next on October 1st about the virtues of triazine from her perspective as a former state arborist and
sounds good.
pesticide applicator.
Virtues of what?
Triazine, the
It's the organic.
organic,
Name product.
Neem product.
I see.
she's advocating for this product but I think, it's a question, would we like a presentation by her?
Sure. I think the answer is if she wants to have 20 minutes at the next meeting, she can come. We put her
Okay.
on the agenda this meeting.
I think, yeah, how about 15?
15, perfect. Whatever you think, Cynthia. You're the boss.
Does everybody think 15 minutes would be good enough?
15 sounds good.
We
Yeah.
can read the thing.
Yeah, 15 should be.
15 should be perfect.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
She'll go on too long.
Yeah.
I'll pass on the word and send
Thank you,
her
Cynthia.
send it in writing
Sorry you
with
have
3
to be in a
copies.
position- Have to be the messenger on this, but
Thank you.
You
So,
could
yeah.
make me do it.
You're not even on the committee.
What?
You're not even on the committees. That's probably why, so you wouldn't have to do stuff like that.
you
I'm
do you
a
want to do
friend.
it?
She,
Well-
she knows Nancy.
I do.
Yeah.
Nancy will answer the door for you.
Well, I mean, Nancy has information that she wants to share.
Yeah, that's great.
I just,
It's a public meeting. I mean,
I think it's good that you do that, because then if you don't do
I-
it, it'll always be you didn't.
I
do
agree,
it.
totally.
I feel that I feel I've got to call towns in Canada. Because if they're using it, we want to know what their experience is.
Yeah.
Right.
And this company has this whole list of towns.
Yeah.
Right.
So if it's only, and I say only, but that's fine. If it's only residents who use it, I think we're doing something worthwhile.
Yeah,
to
I agree.
learn about it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's a good alternative, right? It works.
Well, we don't know.
Well, it
But-
says it works, but for a year or whatever. I mean,
Well, I think the problem for the state is economic, and for the town too.
yeah, right.
And that's what I unfortunately said, that best practices often means. So, but
Well-
knowing how well,
Do we have a sense of the degree of price difference between this organically preferred method versus the best practice
From,
recommended industry method?
Well, if it's a Canadian product, it might be subject to tariffs. Who knows?
well, if we tweeze apart what the cost difference is, there's the cost difference to do one application, right? I do
Right.
it with this, I do it with that, right?
Right,
I
and
think
then
you-
frequency.
I think, yeah, so that difference, I think you're gonna find is minimal. Because most of the cost to do the work is the labor, okay?
Okay.
And not the material. And that, I got that feedback from Shane, from what I read. Then there's the cost difference of how long does it last? Do you have to do it over again? And I
Mhm.
think the cost differences there are definitely, it's less expensive to use the imamectin benzoate. I don't even think, I think that's a fact. I don't even think that's up for discussion, right? Because it has to be done minimum every 2 years. And
Right.
so
So it's
whatever-
maybe 1.5 times more expensive.
yeah, whatever. I mean,
Okay,
so to answer your question is with as much factual information as possible without getting emotional about it. I think that's the answer, right? When I talked to Shane about cost to do the labor is a big part of the cost to do all this stuff, right? Because the stem injections and you got to pay people who are certified and yada, yada, yada.
But but there was also the citing the form that basically doesn't guarantee the effectiveness of the treatment.
That's what he said.
Right. Well, that's what he said he would do, right?
He said he would, whether that was a, I don't know. He said he wasn't comfortable, all right? So that needs to be once we decide which way to go, we would prefer to go, we'd need to have that discussion if we had to have it at all, right?
Well, they'd have to, in order to use this stuff, you have to get the other certification, the European certification. So, I mean, he probably isn't going to be familiar unless he actually uses it. And I can understand that.
Yep,
and
me too.
Getting the European certification is something that's probably not going to happen. So
we'll talk to Alyssa next week, right, Cynthia?
Yes,
And
at
ask her
the
if she
Belfast
Could
event.
give us her opinion / guidance. She would represent the Maine Forest Service, not Alyssa Gregory, right? On behalf of her organization, what she thinks is standard practice. Can I say that instead of best practice?
Yeah, thank you.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to come up with another
You're
word that
being
makes.
very kind.
That's
really.
fine. We're all, I like the way we can all push back on each other and nobody gets like huffy about it. It's the way it works, right?
It's just a
And I have a wacky out of the box question.
No such thing.
Since this sounds like it's going to be an indefinite situation for the foreseeable next 100 years, and labor is the most significant portion of the cost. Is this something, I wonder if there are any instances of municipalities getting trained and certified to do it themselves?
Yeah.
And is that something, Dave, that?
No.
No.
So, no, I mean, not Public Works, but I think the Snowball, back when they had the brown tail moth problem, they got certified, I think, to do it in the cemetery and the town parks, I think. It's not the hardest thing to get certified to do, to be honest with you, to be the applicator and the answer is yes, it can be done. And, maybe that's something that could be looked at. Maybe you find out that it's worth having a person that can do that work. If you start crunching the numbers over time,
Yeah.
you can do something else, something we can look at. But I think initially you want to go with somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
I think that's what he does.
that's what he does. Yeah.
And
It's a good question though, Molly. I mean,
yeah.
I think the other way I kind of think about it too is like, this is buying time because who knows what it's going to be like 10 years from now. Maybe there'll be
Maybe
like
5 years they'll have a cure for it.
biological
Yeah.
treatments. I don't know, better pesticide alternatives.
I will have solved it all.
This
AI.
stuff
There you
is
go.
super easy to, in my opinion, it's not a hard thing to do. You drill a hole, you get the diameter breast height, there's a calculation, it tells you the number of ampules you use. You drill a hole in the bark into the layer, whatever the depth is, the cambium. You tap the thing in, you hit the plunger and you let it go. And that's what it is. And it's just a matter of when you put it in, with the time of the year when you do it. It's not a really hard thing to do, but you do have to be certified.
Right.
So,
Which is what made me wonder if
I actually
how much
looked
money
into
we
it.
might save for the town over X number of years if we just figure out how to not outsource it. But
Right,
just a
right.
thought.
And I actually looked into doing this for my own property during the brown tail moth. And I came to the conclusion that it wasn't worth it for me to do it. And I was just going to, ride the brown tail moth out. So, but it isn't hard at all. And it's not very expensive if you do it yourself.
Right.
And I think it's the same chemical.
There's that imidacloprid, which is another one.
It was the one we're talking about here for the emerald ash borer.
Imamectin?
Yeah.
Imamectin, not ivermectin.
No, it was ivermectin.
No, ivermectin is that horse that I don't even want to get into it.
Well,
It's
it was a mectin. I can't remember.
Imamectin.
There's a Emma and there's a Amma. And
Amma,
Amma is now frowned upon, but Emma is the current one.
Whichever one was used for the brown tail moth is the one I was looking at.
Okay, well, maybe that
It
was
wasn't
Emma.
super expensive to buy, and it's not hard to do, but you got to be trained and you got to know what to do. And you're generating a waste stream after with the ampules after they're taken out. You got to put signage up if you're going to be doing this to be compliant with the town's pesticide ordinance. You know, it gets complicated the more you look into it. It's not just a simple, do it real quick. It'll take some people some time to do, but it'll be interesting to see how long it takes somebody else to do it. And then we'll have a good idea of hours needed to do
Yep.
something like this.
Yep, I know. We got a lot ahead of us to get this all roll. This is a big project for us.
Just a note, this whole question of the neem oil-based thing being applied in, as an alternative here, it might be a moot question, because I just looked at this Canadian website that supposedly identifies all the licensed providers in the United States, and there's only one in Maine, and it's Nancy Johnson's tree service, and if they don't even do it anymore, then
There's nobody.
nobody can. Just,
saying he would
just-
have to get the certification.
yeah, just bear that in mind. So,
Him saying he wouldn't guarantee it. If he's never done it, why should he guarantee it? So
Well, I
it's
think
logical.
Yeah, I know. Well,
anyway,
so we'll talk to Alyssa on the 11th, right?
Mhm.
See if we can get her. Where else are we? I'm just trying to wrap things up. We got 15 minutes to go, but
Just remember, you're doing something really new and it's awfully big.
yeah, and
And onerous.
yeah, and it's very high impact. That's for
high
sure.
stakes.
Really is. I mean,
So
it's
don't be daunted. It's just it's huge.
When I was looking at it, and I was talking with Shane about the brown tail moth situation, he was saying that there's a certain percentage of trees that can die from the use of this.
Oaks especially, I think.
Yeah, so there's a
Brown tail moth?
mortality from the actual inoculation too,
Huh.
which I didn't hear anything about.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that either.
You know what I mean? Like it can have a negative effect on some trees, I heard. But this was
That's a new wrinkle.
brown tail moth. and it
That's
was-
true for any application, any
Right.
weak tree, any tree that's
Right.
susceptible or, has been infected by multiple factors, age,
Right.
drought.
There's all kinds of different, like this
there's a
tree could be
multitude of
old,
things.
it could have stresses,
that's-
it could have all these other things.
Yeah, right.
And if you go and introduce like a pesticide into it, it can push it over the edge and it won't make it. And there is a mortality rate, which I didn't hear about.
It's compromised to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and Shane can answer that.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. So if you look at the Bangor study, there's a bunch of trees they elected to cut down instead of treating, not because this is some contrived way of making the emerald ash borer go away. It's more because those trees, it's triage. They're not going to make it.
They just weren't.
Yeah, they were compromised. They were in a location that was really hard to treat.
Yeah.
They didn't need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say, which I feel very strongly about, and this is in response to what some people, not nobody here, have said to me, is if people have a belief on the efficacy or the detrimental effects of any emamectin, this triazin, whatever, it's easy to say something like, oh, well, if a goat eats the leaves from the tree, it'll kill the goat. In order to make a claim like that, I'm not talking to us. I'm just, when people talk to us,
Yeah.
you really need to have scientific-based
We want the data.
evidence that that's the case and not just some gunslinging off the
Right.
cuff remark.
Yeah.
That just, because one thing's going to happen here and it's going to just create a hell of a lot more work for us and we're all volunteers and we don't need more work right now,
No.
is hysteria and drama.
We want the
Because
facts.
people say
Okay,
like,
yeah.
well, if you do this and a cat eats a leaf, the cat's going to die. You know,
Right. It's like saying that windmills kill birds. you know.
exactly.
So what I hear you saying is that we want to make sure that our response is documentedly science-based. And
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And that we demand from someone who says stuff like that they get illustrated with scientific. So show me yes, that's fine. Show me the evidence. But
I don't know if it's scientific, but I really do feel that talking to towns that are using it is, science, there's not enough money and there's a lot of
Yeah,
resistance to doing all the studies on all these materials that are
Right.
needed. They're not studied. So the best thing you can do is try to talk to
Right.
where they're being used. And as far as people getting alarmed and dropping little bombs like that,
Yeah.
they're going to do it. Everybody is completely stressed right now and,
yeah, right.
and semi-explosive. So
yeah, I mean, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
agree with
guess
you, Katie.
I might not mean that we have to have a peer-reviewed scientific study about every aspect of it. But if somebody is saying, well, this other treatment is really effective, and my sister lives in a town that used it and it was really effective there. What do you mean really effective? Like compared to what?
yeah.
Right.
So
It's all subjective.
I think we should just try to
Just do your best to find
do our
out.
best.
And-
Yeah.
and that's why
Yeah,
I want to talk to the towns that are using them. And the Middle West has been using these things for a while.
Oh, yeah.
It's not new.
Mil-
It's like, it's at least
Hundreds
10
of
years ago.
Hundreds of thousands of trees have been treated with this stuff.
So as far as the more chemical use, there, people in those towns, actually, I would talk to the tree people even.
Yeah.
And then the Canadian ones for the alternative.
Yep.
And I don't mean that I don't want scientific proof, but I just
Right.
think
Yeah.
the word is used also. Scientific proof is often,
Misused.
But organic chemicals can have the same effect as
Well, that's the other thing.
You know,
When
because-
somebody,
organic
because look at
is
the
another
chrysanthemum
problem.
derivative that
Well.
they use for killing,
Sure.
Ticks.
ticks. Those kill bees, so.
right,
I mean,
that's the thing.
that's-
Organic isn't everything.
Right.
There's two problems with the word organic. One
Kill
is that
invertebrates.
organic is used for organic chemicals,
Right.
which have carbon in them.
That's correct, Petey.
So that doesn't mean anything
No, it
about
doesn't.
their toxicity.
Right.
No.
The other thing about organic is organic certification, which is relative, just like any certification. And some of them, like rotenone, was very toxic.
Right.
We were using it. We were using it because it broke down
Erythrin,
and wasn't
rotenone.
killing other organisms as
Right,
much because
right.
it broke down. But we were poisoning ourselves.
Right.
Right.
So that's another split.
You're exactly correct, Petey.
Yeah.
Really,
Organic
like-
chemistry is a
It's
field.
like the source of all
It's
evil.
the dose. It's a dose and time is what you
Well,
really
there's
look.
that.
That's
The
what you're looking
dose.
at. Your dose and your time, and that's really the thing that, like, how much of the dose and time does it take for an insect or something to die?
You
Or
sort of want to know all those
Right.
Right.
pieces.
Okay, any other comments? No? I'm going to make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I'm in favor.
Third.
Third,
Just kidding.
So
Good to see you all.
You too, Sam.
Have a good day.
Yep. Have fun. See you, Molly.
Dave.